Good morning. There is a lot to do today, but I thought I'd show you what a boat, inside of a boat, looks like when you're trying to do the outside of the boat, and stuff is everywhere. Welcome to today's vlog. You're joining me on the momentous day that is the last day of Ewart. Ewart needed a paint job. Her paint was beyond tired, with lots of deep dashes that we inherited. First we'd need to sand her down. After sanding, we applied some primer, but only in areas that went back to metal, mostly because of the scrapes. Quick question. Is it essential for your bottom to jiggle like that when you sand? Is it like a dance?
What do you mean?
Show us again.
Hang on.
It's the tea.
Let me be health and safety.
So you're our witness. Say goodbye to the tea.
Goodbye, tea.
And sadly, or excitedly, goodbye to the E also. When we purchased Ewart, we were always planning on renaming her, but the months and years got away from us. Plus, we aren't that good at making decisions. In our case, the name of the boat was slightly raised from the paintwork. Not sanding the name completely would mean it would always show through by a millimetre or so, and that just wasn't the look we wanted. We knew once she had her top coat on, we would never have someone shout out "Ewart" at a lock to us ever again.
You can still see it.
We needed to take out the windows, partly for peace of mind, to check for rust, and partly because the previous owners had used silicone around the frames. Luckily they were screwed in, so all we had to do was unscrew them. Then, gingerly at first, mindful that dropping a window into a canal is not advisable, Kath pulled the windows out. So yesterday we had a really productive day. We had a super busy day. Today the goal is to get all of the stern sanded properly and to get the first coat on. You might be able to tell from the video that it's a little bit overcast. We're expecting rain at 5, but I think if it's just the undercoat on and it will be dry probably by midday, then I think we're fine. There was hardly enough time to tease the cats. The side of the boat needed to be sanded. After sanding, we needed to give her a very good wipe down. I went along the length of the boat twice. The first time I wiped the loose paint off with just water and a sponge. The second time I used a tiny bit of detergent. Then Kath followed after that, wiping with white spirits. Equipment ready. After much YouTube watching, we decided painting with a roller, then tipping off with a brush would be the best option. Windows out, again, and begin. easier applying today.
It's not as hot.
Yeah. Could you
Take the fender off.
yeah, and can you retie this so that it just goes straight from the bow?
Yep. There's the brush.
Thanks. Probably the bow rope first. More important. Even though this was just the first coat, I didn't want to rush it. The weather was perfect. Not too hot, not too cold. Goldilocks weather. Of course I had supervision for most of the day. That what you're doing is getting rid of those little water bubbles, especially on the first coat. To apply the paint, I used the roller. I covered a small area with the roller. I used a dry brush that I dragged through the paint. This burst the paint bubbles and would eventually leave a nicer finish. I am putting it on thicker this time than I did when we did the other side. And I think that's just from watching Ed and also a bit of experience. And because it's not so hot.
Yeah.
It's going to look a lot better than the other side.
Careful. Alice.
Alice has blue all over her feet now. It actually feels great to sand down the first layer. Do not miss this step. Sanding the first layer lets you get rid of any paint drips and create a smoother surface for the next layer. So, good morning. We are sanding back layer 1, seeing what a terrible job I did at painting, and then I'm going to thin out the paint and do the second layer. Then tomorrow, sanding again with higher grit again, and thinning out the paint again and doing the top layer. Sanding on the old paint, the red layer, we used an 80 grit. For sanding the first blue layer, we used 320. Before doing the top coat, we sanded with 400 grit. Does it get better as you go down the boat?
Yeah, much better.
Yeah. So this is where I started. So it's not as lumpy. And then over there's where I finished. Do you want to just keep a denim boat?
Definitely.
The sander was essential kit for us in this paint job. However, there are certain spots where we needed to hand sand, under the windows for instance. As with the previous day, we then wiped down the boat thoroughly. Day 3 inspection for the painting. Yesterday, I was so optimistic about how wonderful a job I had done that I thought it didn't need another coat. But upon inspection this morning, I have discovered a few unsightly runs. So some of the things I'm really happy about is the top part of the roof. That's not getting another coat. I'm really happy with the gunnels and below the gunnels. I'm not so happy with my vertical facing in tiny bits, just tiny bits. So there's a bit here that just when the sun shines on it, you can see a bit of sagging. So I'm hoping if we use some 400 grit sandpaper today, we're just going to take off a really light layer, and then I'm going to go over with some diluted paint and shine that up. But every now and then I look at it and I'm super happy with it, and then I see like little bits. But I'm not a professional painter. What do you think, honey?
I think for the first boat painting experience that we've had, that it's looking good. There's some good areas and some areas that I need to sand.
So this is a bug, if you can see that Kath killed yesterday.
It was already stuck.
It was stuck. And then this is a kind of paint join where I've had the paint and then I've had to go refill my bucket, and that bit's gone a bit not great. And this is a bit of the sagging that I was telling you about. Here's a bit. Maybe you can see that from the side. There's a bit of sagging there as well. Thank you for watching today's episode. Next time we complete the final coat of paint. We also tackle coach lines, ! And decide how to treat the gunnels. If you have any questions about painting a boat, then leave them in the comment box below. Also, if you have any tips and you have completed your own boat painting, please share them with us. Thanks.
Gonna do another coat below the gunnel?
No.
Because it's bare in spots.
I know, I'm remembering now. I only did half the gunnel yesterday. I just remembered. I only did half the gunnel. I ran out of paint, and so I thought I'd have a cup of tea.